UFC Fight Night Sao Paulo, Almeida versus Luis just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main events, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of Kaue Fernandes versus Marc Diakiese. I said that Marc Diakiese would get this one done and ruin the debut of Fernandes because he doesn't have the gas tank for it. And Marc Diakiese out-grappled him more and more as the fight went on. Really, really boring Marc Diakiese performance. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I could have been on time. I genuinely could have been on time for this live stream. I saw Marc Diakiese was first on the card and I thought, you know what? I'll take my time getting ready for the live stream. And what do you know? He puts on yet another absolute snooze fest of control time. We'll get to the main event in a second. But Marc Diakiese out-grapples Fernandes as the fight goes on. Fernandes did okay in round one, but he got his own takedown, I believe. And then Diakiese reversed it or something. And then round two, Diakiese started getting him down more. And then round three, Fernandes had no ability to get back up to his feet. And that was the story of the fight. I think Diakiese got injured to his leg, but I guess he's been injured to his leg for the past 5 fights because that's all he's been doing recently. We move on. Up the card, Eduarda Moura versus Montserrat Ruiz. Eduarda Moura was twice the size of Montserrat Ruiz. I picked her to win this fight because of her grappling, even though Montserrat Ruiz is a national champion in wrestling out of Mexico. She's tiny and too small, and she literally might be a 95er. And I'm not saying a 195er, I'm saying no, 95er. She's fighting at 115 at the moment. Too big. I think 105 would be too big of a weight class for her. So I think Eduarda Moura was too big, too strong. Got the takedowns when she needed them. Did better on the feet as well. Montserrat Ruiz threw terrible strikes. Can't strike to save her life. And Eduarda Moura got the TKO in the second round. It's annoying that she missed weight by 3 pounds, as well as being already the much larger opponent here, but it was never going to go well for Montserrat Ruiz, and Eduarda Moura got the job done. We move on. Up the card, Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. You know what? Actually a decent fight, which is saying something compared to the rest of this card. Decent fight. Angela Hill looked okay in the fight, honestly. I picked her to win as an underdog. I think she was a slight underdog in this fight against Denise Gomes. I didn't know why she was a slight underdog because she's beaten so many good fighters in the women's divisions and so many prospects before, and she beat Luma Lookboom, and, you know, Denise Gomes lost to Luma Lookboom pretty easily. So I went with her to win, and she used her grappling in the later rounds. I think I gave her round 2 and 3 and gave Denise Gomes round 1, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, just because Denise Gomes ended round 1 in a dominant position with the armbar attack and landing some ground and pound at the end of that round. But round 2 and 3, Angela Hill outworked her at range, outworked her in the clinch, and got the job done as the fight went on. So really good job by Angela Hill. Stayed safe on the feet and turned back another prospect in the women's divisions. Good job for her. We move on. Up the card, Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. I picked Modestas Bukauskas to win this fight as an underdog. And to be fair, he was doing all right. But it wasn't at a high enough pace. And he eventually ran into a check hook from Vitor Petrino, getting KO'd in round 2. In round 1, he was doing all right. He landed a couple low kicks. Petrino couldn't really land a shot on Modestas Bukauskas. So eventually went for a takedown that initially Modestas stuffed, but then Petrino shot in again and got the double leg. Freakishly strong, this dude. Gets down at Modestas in round 1. Round 2, Modestas starts getting his hands going a bit. Starts feeling himself a little bit. Goes for like a 2-1, which is so risky to do lunging in against a massive power puncher. Throws out his rear away from his face before he lunges in with a jab. And he gets chinned by a left hook. Petrino timed it perfectly. He didn't even turn it over with full power. It was more Modestas just charging in with his chin to the left hook KO. So, really good job by Vitor Petrino. That's a really good win. I think Modestas is pretty underrated. So, Petrino's power is getting him through a lot of these matchups. Good for him. We move on. Up the card, Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Rinat Fakhretdinov. Awful performance. Absolutely awful performance from Rinat Fakhretdinov here. Did good in the first round as he normally does. Got the knockdown, got the takedown in round 1. And I was thinking, okay, here we go. It's going to be another Rinat Fakhretdinov show again where he just ragdolls these people. But then Elizeu starts doing good. Stuffing the takedowns. Rinat is shooting from miles away, and the stand-up of Rinat Fakhretdinov on display at the end of round 1 and in round 2 was absolutely awful. And outside of the first minute of the round, where he's really explosive and dangerous, if you can stuff a couple of takedowns on this dude, he is winging shots with his eyes closed, with no technique whatsoever. Absolutely zero technique on display. Prime Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos probably beats him, but Elizeu looked old out there and not so good himself. But in round 3, Elizeu's stuffing the takedowns. He's landing knees to the body. He's landing front kicks to the body. Eventually, he hurts Rinat with a kick to the body. Down goes Rinat. Elizeu, instead of standing up the opponent that's now crippled and can't stand himself, goes on top position, which is what a lot of fighters do when they hurt their opponent to the body. Khalil Roundtree him or stand him back up. No idea why fighters do that. Dives on top, tries to get a dominant position, goes for the head with his ground and pound, even though he just hurt his opponent to the body. Again, don't know why they do it. Starts beating him up in round 3 and then goes for some chokes at the end. Gets a 10-8 round for himself. I don't mind the 10-8. He was winning the round before that, and he hurt him badly and nearly finished him on 2 occasions. So, Elizeu gets a 10-8 in the 3rd. Overall, a draw. Rinat got fraud checked at welterweight. We'll get to this co-main event in a second. We move on to the main card. Elves Brenner versus Kanyan Kruczewski. Elves Brenner absolutely whooped him bad. And this is a good fighter. I know he wasn't in shape, and you could see that because he is a lightweight, but he had to do catch weight 165, and he just seemed to have a bit of extra body fat on him. But he was 15-1 going into this fight. This wasn't a schmuck. This was a good fighter who had beaten good opponents on the regional scene. And Elves Brenner slept him badly in the first round. I was wondering what hit him at first, but I was like, it must have caught him behind the ear. Something must have caught him behind the ear, and it did. Left hook from Elves Brenner as Kruczewski was looking away from him and sort of circling out after throwing his own missed shot. Brenner caught him with the knuckle right on the side of the head, and it switched him off badly. Walk-off KO for Elves Brenner. 100% going to be getting a performance bonus. 100%. Him, Petrino, and Dalby, I think, should get that, in my opinion. No fight of the night bonus on this card. But Elves Brenner, amazing performance. Got the job done by KO. Just beat Goram Kutsteledze before this as well. I think Elves has got to get a Dober or a ranked opponent. A lot of people are saying, you know, give him another test and he'll build himself up. Dude, he's only 2-0. But at the end of the day, Elves Brenner is 2-0. 3-0 now. Beat Zubaira Tukagov. Beat him. Close fight, but beat him. Beat Goram Kutsteledze by TKO. Amazing win. And then just beat another 15-1 opponent. Give him a test at lightweight, I think. I know he's young, but let's just see. How good is this dude? I don't want to keep having him beat a bunch of people that nobody's heard of in the lightweight division. Let's move him up. Moving on. Up the card to another fight, which is Caio Borralho versus Abbas Magomedov. Abbas Magomedov, the only German national in the UFC, and he doesn't have enough gas. Interesting turn of events. Used it all up in World War II. Abbas Magomedov looked all right, to be fair, in the first 2 rounds, didn't he? I thought he could have won the first round, in all honesty. I think 30-27 is a bit of a crazy scorecard. Not crazy, actually. Like, I can see Borralho winning the first round as well, but it just seemed like Abbas landed a few more. I'm going to check the stats right now to see if that's the case, but no, Abbas didn't land more in the first. Maybe I'm off, but I just thought maybe he landed better. Whatever. Very close round in round 1. I was actually leaning Abbas Magomedov there, but maybe a few shots missed that I thought landed. Round 2 was a great round. Abbas, by the way, stuffed the takedown really well in the first round. Really great sprawl that he had. But Borralho started getting his jab going in round 2. Started landing more of the power shots. Abbas started going to the body really well. Borralho landed a few low kicks in the fight too. Abbas started going to the body really well with kicks and punches. Like, Borralho would charge in with his high guard and his chin up, and Abbas would, like, slide a body shot underneath it at the end of an exchange. And that was all right from Abbas. But then in round 3, he got hit with a shot. And I'm still not sure, because I haven't rewatched it yet. I'm still not sure if he actually got hurt by the shot. I feel like he could have got hurt by it, but it didn't look like a shot that was, like, hurtable, that had been wobbled all over the place. I just feel like he just took a bit more damage than he wanted to and was like, here we go. You know what I mean? And then Borralho starts pouring it on like he can get a finish, knocks Abbas down with a body shot, and again, instead of finishing the man, you just hurt to the body, who's now crumpled in a mess on the floor. You opt for half guard on top, get the back, and let him survive for the rest of the fight, basically. Borralho gets it done. Great performance. Got a win by not doing what he normally does to win. Like, he struck with Abbas Magomedov, which is impressive. And Abbas just needs to work on the cardio a bit more, you know what I mean? Speaking of working on cardio, nope, we'll get to that in a second. But still, it applies to this one because they're both fat. Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira versus Dontel Mays. Actually a pretty fun fight. Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira won the first round. The second round, arguably, is Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira's round again, but a much closer round. Round 3, I thought Dontel Mays did enough to win that round. I'm going to recheck the stats here. Yeah, I thought Dontel Mays won round 3, so the fact that one judge gave it to Rodrigo 30-27 is absolutely unexplainable. No idea who gave him the third round. But the first 2 rounds I gave to Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira, and it really just came because they were both doing the same thing, landing pitter-patter strikes on each other, but Rodrigo was landing the clean ones, and he landed the better shots. In round 1, he looked like he wobbled Dontel Mays a couple of times. In round 2, he landed like an elbow off the break from a clinch, and he just landed the big shots out of the two of them, and was the guy moving forward in round 2. So Dontel Mays loses. Rodrigo, the question mark kick from Dontel Mays, better than Ben Askren's spinning back fist, I'm telling you. It was crazy to see that level of athleticism. We move on to the co-main event. Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicholas Dalby. Now this, respect to Nicholas Dalby. I know he's a bit soy, you know what I mean? He's not the Chad we want out of him, but he gets it done. Absolute Chad. Changed my mind about him, honestly. Pushed forward, and honestly, from the get-go in round 1, he made it known he weren't going down easy. From the get-go. He started the fight charging forward at Gabriel Bonfim and swinging in the pocket with him. And we're just like, this dude could KO me. This dude could sub me. I need to make it so that I could do that to him as well. And that was his mindset in this fight, right? He wasn't there to try and pick apart Bonfim on the outside and stay at range and don't get KO'd like a lot of fighters maybe would against Bonfim. He charged forward, put the pressure on, and although Bonfim did get a takedown at the end of round 1 that arguably won him that round, he wasn't doing much with it. He did do some damage, get off some ground and pound, but it's not like he had too many great submission attempts, or there was never really a moment where you thought, he's going to finish him now. He kind of didn't capitalize when he needed to on the ground. Round 1 was Bonfim's round, though. He landed a bunch of ground and pound towards the end of round 1 that got him that round. Round 2, Bonfim broke. Round 2, start of it, went for a takedown, got the takedown with a bunch of strength required, by the way, failed the initial shot, and then just hoisted Dalby up to try and take him down. Dalby got back up, and the second he got back up, after that takedown from Bonfim started to break. Like, oh God, I used everything I could to get this guy to the ground right now. And he's in my face, pouring it on, kneeing me to the body, elbowing me in the clinch, punching me. Stayed in Bonfim's face. Bonfim was swinging back, and I was like, oh, he's catching Dalby. But Dalby just took it. Dalby took the shots. Chin on him, great in this fight. Took the shots. This got a fight of the night. I don't think Bonfim deserved a bonus whatsoever, but they gave it out, whatever. I guess we're just giving points to Bonfim for getting a takedown and then breaking in round 2. All good. That's how bad this card was, that this got fight of the night. Round 2, Dalby put it on him and broke him. Knees to the face, elbows in the clinch, eventually shattered him with a knee to the face in the clinch. Down goes Bonfim. Follow-up shots happen, and it was over for Bonfim. Amazing performance by Nicholas Dalby. He gets his first win by finish in his UFC career. Crazy. He's been in the UFC for so long. He's fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fights. 12 fights now in his career. The first man he finishes is Gabriel Bonfim in the second round by TKO. He lost to Jesse Ronson. Crazy. We move on. Tim Means did better than that, Bonfim. What happened? Great win from Dalby, though. Proved me wrong for sure. Jailton Almeida versus Derrick Lewis. cut him from the sport. Cut him to PFL. I don't care if they can say we have the best heavyweight in the planet. It'll never be proven. Don't give him a chance against the top contenders. He doesn't deserve it after that. He called out Cyril Gane. No. I'd rather see a Volkov-Gane rematch. You don't get anything. You know what he just earned with that performance? He earned himself a shot against Mick Parkin if he comes off a win coming up soon. That's what he just earned himself there at heavyweight. You got given Derrick Lewis on short notice in Brazil, in front of your home people, 5-rounder, main event, card built around you, and you lay on top of him and do nothing. Fair enough, he tried to sub him. Dude, if the guy's not getting submitted, throw some fucking ground and pound at him. I've never seen someone get urged to ground and pound by the ref in full mount. You're in full mount over Derrick Lewis. Throw a punch, throw an elbow. He stayed there looking at Lewis on the ground. Might have had money on himself by decision. I don't know what he was doing in certain moments. Obviously, he did take down Lewis over and over again, but when you consider that Spivak ragdolled Lewis and subbed him in a round, it does put some perspective on it. Jailton Almeida won the fight. There were moments where I was like, oh, hang on, this is where Lewis gets it, because he would turn around the takedown or stuff a takedown for once or end up on top position after Almeida fell off the back. There were moments where it was like, time to get hyped for Derrick Lewis. He might pull this off. But then Jailton would just get another takedown. And at the end of the day, Derrick Lewis is just fat. Like, he's a fat dude with power. Has got the takedown defense. Like, he showed some of it. Not really, though. Like, there's just no scramble ability out of him. He just lays on the ground, is too fat to submit, and then stands up when he wants to. And then halfway, most of the time, where Jailton would then take the back, Lewis would go back to mount. Arm triangle attempt. Let me just barge my way out of this arm triangle with my arm. And then, yeah, Jailton Almeida, man. The Brazilian crowd stayed around and cheered him after that. They walked out on Glover Teixeira on his retirement. Pathetic. Fuck Jailton Almeida, dude. Honestly, fuck him. He had a massive chance to make a statement here. And I thought, oh, here we go. He's going to ragdoll Lewis and sub him. And I know that there's a part of the game that is grappling. I'm not being a casual here. There's a part of the game that's grappling. But, like, do something, man. This is what the new rule was implemented for. You're doing nothing on top of Derrick Lewis. You're laying in side control, then getting to mount. And it was the first time where... I think it's the first time in an MMA fight where I've seen someone get mount and gone, oh, thank God, Lewis is safe. I've never felt that before. Jailton Almeida has changed the narrative on being mounted. I saw him get mount on Derrick Lewis and I was like, oh, thank God, Lewis will survive this round. That was literally my mindset as soon as he got mount on Derrick Lewis. He did nothing from that position. He had 5 rounds of control time. He landed 38 significant strikes. That was a terrible performance. And he landed a few of them on the feet in the first round as well. Really terrible. Lewis had some okay takedown defense for the initial shot of Jailton Almeida. But then Jailton will just like chain into another takedown, single leg, and topple Derrick Lewis over. Which was good wrestling. Don't get me wrong, it is good wrestling. But, man, I hope someone at heavyweight sleeps him. I do not want him ruining heavyweight when we have all these fun matchups that can be made on the feet at heavyweight. And I also think, not even joking, after that performance, I think some of these athletic heavyweights can beat him. If they stuffed a takedown on him, like Derrick Lewis could at times, especially in a 5-rounder, if I'm another heavyweight, I'm asking for a 5-rounder. And if I'm Cyril Gane, I might just say, you know what? Bet. Take me on in January. Now. No time to evolve. Now. January. February. Let's fight. Now. That's what I'd do if I was Cyril Gane. But, at the end of the day, I hope Jailton Almeida gets a shot against... I mean, he's ranked number 9 and he beat number 10. Move him above Tuivasa, I guess. But Tuivasa finished Lewis, so no, keep him at number 9. Spivak finished Lewis as well. Keep him at number 9. You don't move up the rankings. And guess what? Marcin Tybura needs an opponent. And if you win that one, and if you don't make it look fun, guess what? Romanov needs a shot up the rankings. And if you make that one look boring, guess what? Martin Bidet needs to jump up the rankings. Fuck Jailton Almeida, dude. That was shit to watch. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm going to make a whole video about it tomorrow. So annoying to watch. But he won and grappled. And again, Heavyweights are fat people that don't know how to wrestle until you hit the top 5, and then there's some athletes, and they're really good. Like, it's literally Pavlovich, Aspinall, Garn, Volkov. I'm chucking Volkov in there as well. And everyone else at heavyweight. That's all it is. Jones is injured, of course. I would have mentioned him, but I'm talking about contenders. See you later. Goodbye. Toodle pip. Can't believe I stayed up until 4 a.m. to watch that. That was probably the worst main event of all time. Rooting for Derrick Lewis the whole time, but man. Somebody sleep Jailton Almeida. He's literally a roid abuser as well. Dude has the face of a 70-year-old. And he's like 32. Looking 70 years old in the face. And his main sparring partner, Carlos Felipe, got popped for roids as well. And he's obese. Imagine what Almeida's on. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Great win from Almeida. He won, but the performance was just... I've never taken a sigh of relief watching someone I wanted to win get mounted. This was a first. See you later. Goodbye. Yeah.